and that was just confirmed in the last few hours. And it's the right thing to do. It will go some way to getting some favor from the NCAA. It feels like they are out for blood, and no matter what the evidence may show, there's going to be some sort of penalty. There already has been self-imposed recruiting penalties, which has made the recruiting difficult for this class, but somehow Orgeron has pulled off the number 3 class in the country. Just absolutely brilliant, considering what he's been swimming against that type of current with the violations. But it's just been a very interesting few days. Eric Gilbert opting out. That was very interesting. There was a lot of reasons given, but the real reason is he's done with 2020. We figure he might come back to LSU. We think he'll probably come back, but whether he does or not, he's done with 2020 right now, and it feels like a lot of the LSU players are just done with 2020. Yeah.
Talking LSU, taking on the Florida Gators this weekend, and there is a final game on championship weekend for LSU, correct? Or are they going to be done with the season after this week?
We'll play Ole Miss after Florida. Florida, yeah, this game coming up here for LSU, what is there to play for after you allow 470 yards in the first half against Alabama? I mean, Mac Jones went Davy Jones on our ass. And then you got Devontae Smith putting up almost 300 yards of offense in the first half. There was no reaction, no response, no adjustment from LSU across the board. I'm done with the excuses for this team. There's no way to explain why Cordell Flott is covering Devontae Smith. There's no way to explain why Derek Stingley isn't following him in motion. And that's not on Derek Stingley. That he's purely being instructed to do that. By who? Is it Bo Pelini? Is it Corey Raymond? There's some mystery to that. But either way, there's going to be some changes at LSU. There has to be with the staff. I anticipate, maybe not the biggest changes in the world because of what we can do with the contracts, but there will be some changes.
So when you mention changes and you're talking that side of the football, of course, we're going to go straight to Bo Pelini. You talking about to that degree? Or are we talking about positional coaches?
Yeah, I can't anticipate Pelini being ousted. It doesn't seem to work at $2.3 million with the pandemic, with the cuts LSU has taken. At the same time, maybe it's just that bad of a situation. They're willing to really roll that financial dice. I could see both. I could see both scenarios playing out. I was a huge Pelini supporter, and I felt like he was turning it around after the Arkansas Texas A&M game. There were some signs, but once again, you just see the same players in the same positions making the same horrific missed tackles, same horrific blown coverages. I mean, it was just forget Mac Jones being the Heisman. It's Devontae Smith who's the Heisman for 2020. This dude is he just erased Cordell Flott. I mean, Cordell Flott, he's now allowed 11 direct touchdowns. I remember we did a show a few weeks ago, or even just a week ago, where I said it was 9. But now with 2 this last week, it's up to 11, and it's shocking. There's just some disastrous plays across the board from LSU, and it's coaching. My point is, Mark,
yes,
this happened very quickly. This was just a huge landslide with Jamar Chase, Terrace Marshall, Eric Gilbert, Miles Brennan, Tyler Shelvin, Jacoby Stevens is playing well. You got Marcel Brooks who's there. Derek Stingley isn't out for the first game. Things like that. It looks finite. It looks powerful. It looks strong. It looks like a CFP contender. Maybe not good enough to beat Alabama this year, but definitely way, way, way good enough to shut down Auburn, to beat Auburn, allow 48 points against Auburn, allow 44 to Mississippi State, who's only got one loss, I believe. I mean, one win, I believe, and it's of course against LSU. 623 passing yards allowed, the most points allowed against in the Auburn series, the most points allowed in the Alabama series by halftime. I have to put my foot down when it comes to this. When you lose to Nick Saban like that, to me, that is just it cuts deeply. It's something that cannot be, rectified with just simple explanations or words when you lose like that. It's not about losing. Okay, it's about losing like that. It's about folding. And the 2019 team, people could say whatever they wanted about that defense, but that defense never folded in any game. And they absolutely had Burrow's back when they were thrust out there with drive after drive after drive because Burrow and that offense would score so quickly. It took a toll on that team. They were beat up all over that defensive line. Rashard Lawrence was hurt. Tyler Shelvin was hurt for most of that season. You got Grant Delpit playing on a hurt ankle that whole year. And still, they powered through it, tough through it, and forced turnovers against the best quarterbacks in college football. They didn't cry. They didn't whine. They didn't point fingers. They didn't opt out. But I at the same time, I cannot blame these players for opting out. Something is going on at LSU. We need to figure out what it is.